Click for IB Biology. Here we're going to be looking at osmosis, the movement of water into and out of cells in terms of what is called the water potential. And first we're going to look at animal cells. There's a blank PDF of this presentation down in the description where you'll also find a quiz, 10 questions with answers, and also there's an AI prompt that you can use to test your understanding of this content. So let's just summarize what it is that we're about to attempt to do. In higher level biology, we uprate our understanding of the movement of water by replacing low solute potential, which you'll remember, low solute means that the solute, the dissolved substances within water, there's not very many of them. This perhaps has also been known as a dilute solution in the past. So we're going to take the phrase low solute potential, and what we're going to do is we're going to transform that into what we will call high water potential. This symbol here is the Greek symbol psi. Psi W means the water potential. So a low solute potential is a high water potential. So let's see if we can develop an understanding of that. So where we have a low solute potential, remember that this means there's lots of water molecules and they're free to move and they have a high kinetic energy. Now we can measure that kinetic energy in terms of a pressure, and there we would look at what are known as pascals or kilopascals in this case. So where we've got lots of water molecules with lots of kinetic energy, having lots of collisions with each other and with the container, we would say that there's a high pressure, there's a high kilopascals, there's a high water potential. On the other side of the membrane, which is just here, we have a lot of solute, and that solute has caused the water molecules to arrange themselves through hydrogen bonding around the solute, and so therefore we have a low kinetic energy, and that's so high solute potential, lots of dissolved stuff, reduces the water potential, which leads to a low water potential. So we think of the potential as the energy or the tendency of the water molecules to move. And so where there's a high water potential, they will move to a place where there's a low water potential. Now, for the purposes of this relative scale of water potential, where we have pure water, this is given the water potential at 0 kilopascals, but that has to be at 20 degrees centigrade and 1 atmosphere of pressure. So now we have a new definition of osmosis, which is the movement of water from a high water potential to a low water potential, of course, through the semi-permeable membrane. Let's look at some applications in animal cells. So I've carried over the formula, the rule that we're using. So water will move, the water is going to move from a high water potential where there's lots of energy in the water molecules to a low water potential. So let's look at these three cells and let's make a prediction about the way that the water is going to move. So we're going to look for higher water potentials. Now the first thing that you'll notice is that the values which are given here are in kilopascals. We've already established this measure, but they're all negative. Now the reason for this, if you recall, is that for pure water with no solute, then this has 0 kilopascals at the 20 degrees centigrade and the 1 atmosphere of pressure. So what this is telling us is that these 3 cells have less water potential than pure water. In other words, they have substances dissolved in their cytoplasm. So if we look at this in detail, we can see that C is at minus 145 and B is at minus 345 kilopascals. Now this means that B has more solute than C, and A has more solute than either B or C. The solute reduces the water potential. So if we have pure water at 0 kilopascals, when we dissolve things into that water, the kinetic energy will be reduced and the pressure will reduce, and so our measures of psi W will be negative. So the rule is that the water moves from a high water potential to a low water potential. So 145 is higher than minus 345, and so we can predict that the water is going to move from cell C to cell B. And in turn, we can see that minus 345 kilopascals is higher than minus 789 kilopascals, and so the water will move from B to C. So we have the flow of water is from cell B to cell C to cell B to cell A. But of course, the water will also move from cell C into cell A. Minus 145 kilopascals is higher than minus 789 kilopascals. This problem here is a problem that is sometimes seen in multiple choice questions in IB examinations. So we're now using a new definition of osmosis, the movement of water from a high water potential to a low water potential, and the values of the water potentials are measured in kilopascals. The link which is showing now is to the next video, which is a study of osmosis in terms of water potential in plant cells.